Hey Chris, just want to take a minute to show you what I was talking about and just looking at the angles. Um, and you can kind of see here where the angles are set at address. Um, Yours is one that I'm going to try to move around here. I'm going to use this drawing tool because I think I'm able to edit and actually move the drawings around. And if I can find the tool's not in there. But anyway, just to give you an idea of how it's set, I want to look at mine first, and you can see how I've got it from the middle of the hip down to the knee and then through the leg. And I want you to watch as this goes along, and we begin to watch this swing move, and you can see as it takes off and as the swing begins to go, the angle is going to move around on that leg, and even though the camera angle is a little bit off here, but where the club comes up, and I want you to see how the shoulders stop. If I was to move this, and I don't see the tool, I wish I did, because this would be really cool for me to be able to grab this thing and to really edit the drawings, but I don't see where it is. But I mean, if I could get this to the top, I apologize, I can't move it right now. But if I move that to the hip and the knee, it would still have the same angle, even though the hips turn backwards. And you can see how the shoulders are set, and they're pretty much at a 90-degree angle. So if we move over here to yours, and we'll watch how this moves away, and you can see how it comes set. And even though the plane's good, watch when it gets right to the top of the swing, and you can see how there's just a little bit of a lean of the shoulder forward. So you've gone past that 90 degree, and you're sort of like maybe leaned a little bit left. And you can see how the shoulders aren't as even as you can see in mine. And it's just gone, to me, I think it's just a little bit too far. I'd love to see the shoulder stop right at 90 degrees. But I think that's what's going to influence the beginning. When you see right in here, you see the body move first, and it's going to move to reset itself. If you could have stopped right there, I mean, that's a much better position to be in. That's where the shoulders are at 90. So it's going to reset itself. And then you can see as you come down and get back in there, this is where it begins to come up and starts to push up off the ground. And see, that's why I say there's your angle at impact. Let me back up one here. That's your angle at impact. See, that's why I've measured that off of there. And then if we really go backwards from here, you see that wasn't the angle quite at address. It's close, but not quite. So it just comes up and out of that a little bit as you go to the position. And that to me is right in there. It just looks like it's gotten a little bit too far with the shoulders moving past the 90-degree mark, and I think that's what straightens everything up a little bit. And then as you come back down again, I think that's what makes the body move in here first, and then it pulls up and away as you get in impact, and then even more so in here as it goes through. And you can see with the club on the other side how your foot's off the ground, versus when you watch over here, and now you're going to see right from the top, you see there's not anything but the arms going down. See how the body doesn't shift? From right up in here, the body doesn't shift downward first. It just stays there and lets the arms go. So now the arms come down and drive it in there, and you can see how the angle is set. And look at the legs returning right into that angle, and they're in that angle all the way through as the club goes around the other side. Look how far through there is, and that right foot is still on the ground. And you can see we're in about the same position now, and you can see how your hips are turned forward, that leg is driven pretty straight, and you can see there's a little bit more of a straightening of the spine and the back there. And as this one goes through, you can see even more so, even right into here. Look how far that club has gone, and look at the angle formed between the leg and the hip. See that angle still in there, still in there, still in there, even though the leg's driving forward. And you can see in here how yours is beginning to straighten out, and it's close. It's close to it, but you see it's just a little bit off when it gets to that spot. And then in here, still pretty much got those angles set. So the lower half is really holding on and really giving that club a chance. And you can see how mine's finished a little bit more lower with the shoulder versus high enough above it. And you can see there's just a slight bit of a change in the angle to which the club is. And I'll move this one just a little bit further to match yours. And you can see the club's just a little bit more round. But you can just see a difference in the balance and how the legs have moved and held their ground and kept that original shaft angle. And you can see how, again, when you're looking at this one, just how long it takes. I mean, look right in here. I mean, my foot is still on. You can see the club on the other side. My foot's still on the ground, and that's what I'm trying to show you when you're making these swings of how long that foot needs to stay down. And you're seeing as yours comes down in here, see that foot's beginning to come off the ground right here, and it's off at impact, and there it pushes up in the air right here. And when you can first see your club on the other side, you can see how high up the foot's off the ground. When you can first see mine, you can see even in here, now that heel's just barely starting to move up. So look how far the club has gone, but how much the body's held back and just let the club release. So I think that in itself is going to be the one thing that's going to take you to that final step to really get you sufficient at what you're doing and make it a lot better. So I'm sorry I couldn't find the drawing tool. I know it's in here somewhere. I think when we zoom these in and move them around, the drawing tool disappeared, but I'll have to find out next time how to keep it so that when we're ready to run through there and make these different changes, I can go through and edit. I just don't know how to edit or move them without my little tool, so I'll have to figure out when we go into this recording mode how to pull that in there. But anyway, I hope that helps you see it, and keep working. And again, just watch how long this golf club, from the top of the swing. And there's, if I move that angle back, and then as it comes in there, you can just see the arms really driving that club down. And that first initial move is not a shoulder move to get into position. It's the arms moving down into here. And again, on the other side here, you can see when it gets to the top, that first move, you see the body. I didn't mean to go that fast. You can just see that it's more of the body dropping down and moving forward to get that club in there. You can just see how much of a drop the body's in. And again, when you get up to here, right to the top of the swing, the body pretty much stays in position once it gets up there and allows the golf club just to swing back down. So you can see it's coming right up in here. The body will stay positioned in its angles and drive that club back down. There's no drop, and allow that club to swing all the way through. And it's going through, right through, and the foot begins to come off the ground about here. So you can just see the length of the forward swing of the arms to swing through there before that foot comes off the ground. And then you can see in here as yours begins to come up and how much more off the ground it is. So if you can keep that foot planted, you see your right leg is almost straight, and you can see how I still have quite a bit of bend in there because the body's just sat in that position and allowed the arms to swing through. So anyway, I hope that helps you see it. Keep trudging along. Let me know how your session goes tomorrow, and we will go from there. That was my chair, by the way, in case you heard that squeaking. But anyway, we'll talk to you soon. See you.